What's going on, YouTube? Coming back at you with another video. So today, finally here, Tekashi 6ix9ine sentencing. We'll finally learn the fate of good old Daniel Hernandez. So before he gets sentenced, however, the judge was given these victim impact statements. These are basically letters to the judge, from the victims saying how they feel about everything before Tekashi gets sentenced. I'm gonna read them to you. This first one says, "Dear Your Honor, I'm contacting you today to discuss the impact of a traumatizing situation. I, longtime international publicist, blank, professionally known as blank, and my assistant publicist, blank, survived after being attacked, robbed, and possibly almost kidnapped by high-profile rapper Daniel Hernandez, aka Tekashi 6ix9ine, and his associates. Tekashi 6ix9ine and his 9 Trey gangster bloods were convicted for committing several brazen acts of violence around New York City, including a robbery that took place on April 3rd, 2018. I was targeted by Tekashi 6ix9ine, but the whole thing was a sad case of mistaken identity. In a nutshell, their intended target was a record label out of Houston, Texas, Rap-A-Lot Records, and some of their representatives, who I later learned that there was some kind of industry street beef between Tekashi 6ix9ine, Treyway, and J. Prince Jr. Rap-A-Lot. When the robbery occurred, they came in yelling in the building lobby, "Get on the ground, fuck Rap-A-Lot." I feel I was a target perhaps because I'm from Texas and Rap-A-Lot has contributed to my community charitable events in the past, and the label, like many other labels, are listed on my curriculum vitae. However, my assistant blank had no such affiliations at any capacity. As a career entertainment publicist for nearly 2 decades, I have been connected to a great deal of famous record labels, artists, athletes, public and political figures. During the robbery, my backpack was stolen. It was filled with expensive high-end personal items and several important business confidential hard drives that I have yet to see again. My backpack was later recovered in Tekashi 6ix9ine's home, along with the cell phone he filmed the actual incident with himself. This is documented in sworn information per federal agents' FBI investigation reports and all of the court transcripts and testimonies. As a result of this entire ordeal, I have suffered greatly from mental anguish and emotional distress, so traumatized by this aftermath that over a year later, I've had a difficult time getting past the incident, suffering from what we believe is post-traumatic stress disorder. To add insult to injury, he released the video of me escaping from the clutches of his thugs on social media, and it went viral, accumulating millions of views as the public laughed. I am a mother and a grandmother first, and it is so hard to describe what it feels like to survive that occurrence. Ever since, I find myself unable to do simple things an adult should do. It's easy for me to block out my feelings and avoid things that make me uncomfortable. I have emotional, mental, and financial problems, as this uncomfortable situation has left me displaced without work. I went as far as to leave Texas, hiding in home of a close friend to avoid the watchful eyes of Tekashi 6ix9ine's network. Over a year later, I find I am always scared of people. I cannot be in large crowds for long periods of time at all, long periods of time. I'm constantly worried that when my friends are on the internet, they're going to come across the video of me running for my life, escaping the foyer where the gunman rushed us. This thought, along with me leaving behind my assistant and client, fills me with disgust, shame, and embarrassment. I am humiliated and ashamed that this was turned into a viral joke by Tekashi 6ix9ine for filming of his home. While his thugs did his dirty work to me, a grandmother, and my gay assistant, everywhere I go I feel judged. I am living in fear each day as the news promotes his release, I am more fearful. I had terrible nightmares for a long time. I would wake up sweating and crying and go to children for comfort. I still get flashbacks sometimes. There are thoughts in my head that are memories of things that I am about to die. My heart races. I feel sweaty. And then a stronger picture will pop in my head and I become paralyzed with fear, unable to leave my home once again. With the videos still garnering views, it's like I can't escape no matter where I am. I also fear for my assistant who lives in Brooklyn. Because I've had so many bad dreams, I find it hard to sleep when it's dark. I like to keep the lights on, thinking that it will protect me from bad dreams. I hate scary movies and sometimes have nightmares for days. Sometimes I have unreasonable fears that prevent me from doing normal things. I had to quit a job I was very successful at. I've had over 20 years working with all sorts of entertainers. Not once have I ever been put in a situation where myself or my team, my clients, are in any kind of danger. I am appalled and disgusted by this evil person that is Tekashi 6ix9ine. Had as a waitress because, what the fuck does this say? Had as a waitress because there was a guy who I thought was always staring at me. I couldn't stop thinking, did he recognize me? Did he see my picture somewhere? I was simply too uncomfortable to keep working there. I'm extremely frightened and can no longer successfully work in the music industry, and I have since discontinued taking on new clients. I lost the client who was with her in New York after the robbery. He canceled their contract immediately. My entire career and my assistant and lifelong dreams were destroyed as a result of this horrific event. I have been struggling to get back on my feet. Financially, I was ruined, which has caused a great deal of stress. I need counseling, but unable to afford it. Presently, I am on various anxiety medications and sleep aids. Sadly, I am unable to eat at times, unable to sleep, having nightmares, and has also been suffering from depression. How much is my life worth? How much is my life worth? How much was my assistant's life worth? Did I deserve to die hundreds of thousands of miles away from my grandchildren? I feel that Daniel Hernandez, Tekashi 6ix9ine, is liable and should be held legally and monetarily responsible for emotional distress, damages, losses, and much more. I pray that you find it in your heart to help this innocent grandmother and recent widow and young man find peace from this entire ordeal and get my life back. Respectfully, blank. So that's the first one. I'm not even going to tell you how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I'll just go on to the next one. This is the next one. Dear Your Honor, I'm a 33-year-old male and a victim of assault and robbery by Daniel Hernandez. More than a year and a half since April 3rd, 2018, I'm still discovering all the ways that I'm suffering and continue to suffer from the attack that I survived, orchestrated by Tekashi 6ix9ine. Once a thriving publicist, videographer, film editor, this violent event has set my life on the wrong course and destroyed the normal adulthood that I was striving for. On the day of April 3rd, 2020, I don't know why it says 2020, but that's what it says in this thing. I was hired to follow blank and her client on the last day of their New York excursion. I am African America. Somebody should have proofread this before they turned it in. Homosexual male, and originally I was so far removed from rap, gangs, and guns. In no way, shape, or form would I ever have been expected to be anyone or in the arena of anyone targeted by Tekashi 6ix9ine, his minions, or his antics. Upon exiting This50.com studios in Midtown, I, along with blank, was assaulted at gunpoint by a group of masked men. I am ex-military and seen my share of violence, but never have I been so scared as the cold, hard, metallic gun was pressed against my abdomen. As much as I want to say how fast it happened, I cannot, because in that moment, my life flashed before my eyes. I was not going to be able to say goodbye to my mother. All I thought was, what did I do to deserve this? What was moments seemed like an eternity, burning in fiery pits as I was frozen and watched my compatriots be assaulted and robbed along with me. Somebody really should have proofread this before you send this kind of stuff in to the judge. This is clearly not the best English. It was fortunate that Blank was able to escape out of the front past the watchful camera eye lens of Tekashi's cellular phone. This footage was confirmed as it went viral on social media after DJ Academics prompt posting, along with satire-like conjoining rhetoric about J. Prince Jr. of Rap-A-Lot's records getting robbed. This was a lie, as no one, not one publicist and grandmother Blank, not myself or the client, was associated with said record label at any capacity. It was after court proceedings persisted that it was confirmed that the entire event that nearly took me off this earth away from those that do love me was organized by none other than Tekashi 6ix9ine. Unlike Blank, who lives in Texas, I am a resident of New York City. I lived in Crown Heights. I became a recluse. I stopped working as a publicist. I minimized the amount of time I spent in public as I was still very scared for my life. I tried going to the police, but no one would take my report. I felt like I was being silenced in that case. I would live silently. I would not do anything to draw attention to myself. Then it's all blanked out. Says, after the event, I refused to sleep alone. I stayed at my partner's home to continue to stay under the radar. This provided me some ease until I found out that Tekashi 6ix9ine was arrested and his home was raided. Incidentally, my own apartment was up the street from the home that was raided. I was within walking distance of his very headquarters of operation. Safe to say, I did not return to my apartment and would not renew my lease. Having a partner while dealing with this situation is great, but realistically, I was left displaced and I was too scared to go back into public relations for fear of being put in a similar situation with another rapper or entertainment client. To this day, I've still not been able to find an apartment alone for fear of being by myself at any time. For a long time, I practiced putting the terrible memories away in my mind, thinking it was still really painful. Sometimes I just go into staring spells when I am caught thinking about what happened and not paying any attention to my surroundings. Every day of my life, I live in constant fear that someone, his goons, supporters, constituents, will be sent to finish the job. It hurts me so much. I did choose to be there, but I, like Blank, did not deserve to be attacked, endangered, and then humiliated across multiple social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, for example, where security footage and the video from Tekashi 6ix9ine phone has accumulated views in the millions. Along with Blank, I myself am there forever on camera. I felt powerless to stop it, and being someone so small on the totem pole, assisting Blank that day, I still feel powerless and am trying to pick up the pieces. Please think about me and think about my life when you sentence this person. Why should this person who nearly ended my life be free when I am not free? So, there's more. I'm going to end that on this note. I'll probably, if you guys like this video and you like hearing these victim impact statements, I'll read the rest of them. Let me know in the comments, though. I appreciate you watching. Hit the like, subscribe, share. Make sure you leave some feedback. Let me know what you want to see happen today with Tekashi 6ix9ine. I definitely appreciate you. Peace.